Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
It's Gav.
And today we are going to be talking about some of the second round series. Most of the game ones have already happened. We're filming this on a Tuesday before the Minnesota and Golden State game.
Yeah.
And let's just say that I was more right on the first round than this guy was. I mean, you got the
Did I get one right?
You got the Nuggets.
Other than the obvious? Okay, I got
the Nuggets. I think, the obvious 2 versus I got the Warriors 1-7.
I think it's crazy that the NFL guy
I was thinking the same.
whoops me, and the NBA guy whoops him in NFL. I don't understand.
It makes zero sense.
Maybe it's because we think too lot. I don't know.
I don't know. You're better at predicting the opposite
It's kind of like, how they say like females are good at sports betting because they have no clue. I think it's like,
exactly. I don't know what it is, but we're getting into the second round, and I think we might have more similar predictions on this one as it narrows down. Well, actually, I got a lot of hot takes, but we're firstly going to start off with the OKC Denver game. Because the reason why I have these glasses on right now, first off, is to look cool. You feel me? I look great right now. Secondly, it was because I had a rough night, man. It was a lot of tears being shed. Not really. I'm BSing. But, man, the way we lost this, I'm going to let you go first because I'm going to have a lot to say. So just tell me what your overall outlook of that game was.
So I think OKC outplayed, and Denver played one of their worst playoff games.
I don't think so. But keep going.
Because the other guys didn't get going as much from Jokic, which is their style. So OKC took them essentially out of their style. And then on top of that, OKC outplayed them. They played a good game. They outplayed them for about 46 to 47 minutes. And then, almost like I say in college basketball, I don't know what the time frame would be for the NBA, but those last few minutes is where coaching matters.
Yeah.
And it's like college at final media. Well, in that last minute, not that the Nuggets coach did anything completely amazing, but he didn't hurt them. And the OKC Thunder's coach, Mark Daigneault, he hurt them.
Yeah.
The only foul I agree with was the Caruso, because that foul makes it impossible for the Nuggets to beat you.
Yeah.
Now, I understand, maybe playing defense and just playing straight up because you have the best defense in the NBA. But if you foul there, it is impossible for a Jamal Murray clutch shot. It is impossible for any of that. Where they messed up was fouling Aaron Gordon 94 feet away from the basket. And I see a lot of people saying, like, why are you fouling? That's coaching. Do not get on any of the OKC players.
No.
The Oklahoma City players executed their game plan and what they were told to do at an elite level and exactly what they were told to do. This is on coaching, and you see Coach even in the presser, Coach Mark Daigneault in the presser say, "Yeah, it's on me," and that's all he can say because
that's the reality.
That's the reality.
And that's I'm just gonna start this off by saying I hate nerd ass coaches. I hate nerd ass philosophies. I hate the analytic statistical viewpoint on getting your team to win games. It makes zero sense to me. So you have. And I texted you this yesterday in the group chat. I think this OKC Thunder team has the best perimeter defense of any team in NBA history. They have the 7th best record of any team in NBA history, and I think their best trait is their perimeter defense. When you can throw guys like Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Shea, Jalen Williams, that's an elite group of perimeter guys. So for you to just say and concede free throws when a team needs 3 points and you don't just want to play defense, I will never understand that philosophy. I believe that comes from a position of weakness. But let's stay away. Let's get where the actual game happened, okay? So like you said, I understand the Caruso foul where he fouls Jokic because they probably had a set drawn up and maybe you don't want to live with that 3 and you want to move on from there.
Yes.
But at the same time, what does a 3 do to you other than take you to overtime where you've already been outplaying this team? And what is the likelihood that any of those guys get a 3 when none of them have been shooting all game, right? Christian Brown made 1 3, I believe, the entire game before that. Russell Westbrook made maybe 1 before that. Jamal Murray, don't even know if he made a 3. He was pretty cold most of the night. He made big shots.
He had a lot. I think he had 2 early.
And I know people are blaming Chet for the majority of this game. But let's look at the last 2 Thunder playoff losses where we were actually playing a capable basketball team, right? So we're off on this on a game 1 against the Denver Nuggets, who were for a majority of the year, a 2 seed who might propose the biggest mismatch for you out of the entire Western Conference now, right? And you decide to make those foolish mistakes, take no time off the clock, and just give them the game. That was a given game to them. Last year, you played the Mavericks, Game 6, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This Thunder team finds the weirdest ways to lose, and this is not just this year. This is historic. I mean, we're talking about Stephen Curry hitting a bomb from downtown. It's hard being all I'm going to say, the Thunder lose in some mysterious ways. And for this to happen, you cannot let a team steal a game when you have controlled it for the majority. It's not, and I told you this yesterday, it wasn't the fact that the Celtics lost or the Cavs lost or the Thunder. It was how they lost, in my opinion, that will matter for the continuation of this series. And I think the Thunder lost for 2 reasons yesterday. One, something we already talked about, the coaching, late game, where we foul Aaron Gordon full court and take 0 seconds
that's where
off of the clock.
That's where you lost.
I mean, if you continue to use their method, you're putting the pressure on your guys to make free throws.
Yes, and that's
where we got to, where Chet missed free throws. And I think the second reason, Chet and J-Dub, right? Chet, you won't see it on the stat sheet based on efficiency, but he was a horrible basketball player. He was not a number 2 or number 3 guy on a championship level squad. Jalen Williams, 5 for 20. He looked unsure of what he wanted to do on offense the entire night. That is why we lost the game yesterday. And those are 2 things, unfortunately, that we have no evidence to think that they will get better. Because I've told you this before. We focus on Jalen Williams being kind of this X factor of the playoffs. I think of Mark Daignault as being, hey, you have to prove yourself now. You were a G League coach, and you got blessed with an immensely talented roster. Yeah. And now it's time for you to prove yourself. And last night was on him 100%. And I don't know where we go from here. I think we can come back. But for the Thunder, it's, hey, are we going to let this loss derail us from where we wanted to go? Or are we going to bounce back and we're going to steal a game in Denver? We'll see.
So I've said this about another series, and y'all will hear about it later, but also in this series, I think the only way that the Nuggets do beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I still think the Thunder will win the series, by the way, because with all the things you just named, y'all still, and lost by 2.
2, yeah, exactly.
But I do worry about the 5 for 20. I worry about Shai even shot. Shai had 30, get you 30, but it still was not the most efficient how it is in the regular season.
What did he shoot?
Something for
because I thought he had a great game, especially down the stretch. But it
still wasn't it wasn't extremely terrible.
Yeah.
Let's look. But with all of that being said, you have. Well, here's it go. So.
We're seeing what he shot, because I thought he was 7 for 16 at one point, which is close to
12 for 26.
12 for 20. See, I can live with that though. Yeah. It's not the greatest, but I can definitely live with
and you're getting to the free throw line, so it's almost like you shot 50%.
Yeah.
But my thing, you have that, not too much on Shai. He played a solid game. But then you have J-Dub, 5 for 20. Then you have Chet missing the 2 free throws, and you have the coach making bad decisions. It's like, dang, is the moment too big?
Yes.
Right now for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I think the only way the OKC Thunder loses this series, if there is enough games that are this tight.
Yes.
With 2 minutes to go. Because they're a better team. The only position that they're not better at is the 5.
Yeah.
4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're better.
Well, they should be. I mean, if we're talking about Chet and Aaron Gordon, that might be a conversation right now, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, it might. But they should be better 1 through 4 in the series, and they were in the regular season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think OKC has to take care of business. You know, when you're up 10, when you're up 12, and honestly, with players like Chet, I really do think Daignault, you might just have to play him 40. 40, 46, 45. 40, I mean, because you playing 10 players, every time you play 10 players in the game of basketball, you're going to have at least 2 to 3 players that you look at their box score and be like, yeah, they didn't show up. What were they doing tonight? But they didn't get no rhythm.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say about the Knicks. I don't love that they played no bench players.
Yes.
But no players out of rhythm on the Knicks.
No.
At all.
No, that's very true.
Every player's in the flow. While you have people like Isaiah Joe coming in spots, you expected him just to hit shots.
And if I was the Thunder, I'm going to be honest, Isaiah Joe would be completely eliminated from this series.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely playing 3 small guards off your bench. And I love the depth that we have. I'm not saying cut the rotation completely. I like the fact that we do have 3 bigs that could go in there, especially when you have Hartenstein and Chet getting in foul trouble early.
Yeah.
That helps. But I would like to see him shorten it just maybe 1 or 2 players for right now. I think Aaron Wiggins needs to play. I think Caruso, Case and Wallace need to play. Those are guys that you need to get in rotation and rhythm. But one thing I will say also, Nikola Jokic, we knew he was going to have a special series, right? But I would love to see our bigs fight over these screens a little bit more to get back. It seemed like yesterday there was a lot of times where Nikola Jokic was posting up guys like Alex Caruso. Late game, he got a mismatch with Shea, and that's a testament to how good Denver is at setting screens. And we know Denver is with Nikola Jokic on the floor, they're a high-level offense regardless of what happens. But I would like to see in the next couple of games our bigs fighting a little bit harder to maintain that matchup and not having to put guys like Alex Caruso and Shea in bad positions to where they can. What are they going to do against Jokic in the mid post? You can send them to your big, but at that point, Jokic is so smart. All right, I'm gonna just stop early and pop it over you. He did that a couple times.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, he's getting all the way to the rim, offensive boards. Like that's what it was yesterday. So I do want people to pay attention to the screen setting by the Denver Nuggets. It's the best I've seen.
Yeah.
And that starts with Jokic
and Aaron Gordon.
And Aaron Gordon. Because it's impressive how easy it is for them to get mismatches. And the Thunder, let's not act like they weren't playing great defense yesterday.
Yeah.
Like they did everything they could. And
Jokic
what I love
is
about
just, like I said, in my personal opinion, if we're talking about individual seasons and individual players, not longevity of a career, but this man is the second best player I've ever seen. Since, other than LeBron James, Jokic is the second best basketball player I've ever seen.
I wouldn't go quite that far. I would say he is the best, but I would say he's the best offensive talent that I've ever seen. I would even put him over any prime LeBron. I'm going to be honest. But defense does matter in my opinion.
Yeah, it does. That's why I put LeBron over him.
Yeah,
but that's it, though.
And I would say I would put Curry still a little bit over him based off, he has a different impact in Jokic and the fact that Jokic can get it a little bit easier because he can get around the rim. But I feel like Curry, the attention you do have to pay to him, it does mean a lot to his teammates. And we saw that against the Rockets and things of that nature. But
But yeah, I just think that you're in a bad situation because the Nuggets didn't absolutely shoot elite.
No.
And they can mess around, shoot elite.
And the Thunder didn't either, though.
Exactly. But they can mess around, shoot elite game 2. Now you're going back 0-2.
Yeah.
Which I don't think will happen.
Yeah.
But you put yourself in a dangerous situation.
Absolutely. Yes.
And yeah, I will say, though, I still think I got Thunder in 6.
Thunder in 6?
I don't want to change. Yeah, no.
I said Thunder in 6 before this series. I would easily say Thunder in 7 right now based on the fact.
You think they're going to split
and it's
both?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it's the fact that Jokic, it's not about Jokic, honestly. Because once again, we knew what Jokic was going to be before the series. It is what Aaron Gordon looked like yesterday. And I don't see a world where they can really, they're going to have to make adjustments.
Chet
this is
can't
game
guard
1.
Jokic.
But, Chet has not a chance in hell of guarding Jokic, which is why I would love to see. Hartenstein was playing 40. He was playing 42 minutes last year on the Knicks. He can do it.
Yeah.
All right, you got to have this guy out there if he's not.
That's what I'm saying. Like Hartenstein has to play every minute Jokic plays.
Yes.
Just follow him. He goes to the table. You go to the table. Like,
absolutely.
I think that's what it should be.
I completely agree with that. And once again, I still because we were up and the thing about Mark Daigneault, and I told you this yesterday. He coached a great game.
Yeah.
Until it was important, right?
Yeah.
You get up 3. And now we're talking about not taking any time off the clock. And that's your advantage. The time at that point when you're up 3 is your advantage. Either you give them multiple opportunities with that foul stuff, or you live with a prayer of a 3. Because if you play perimeter defense and you know that all they need is a 3, you're at least running all those seconds off the clock. And I told you yesterday, Aaron Gordon, if you let him get past half court, that's at least 4 seconds off the clock with the ball pressure that we have. Yeah. And they're not going to have that extra 4 seconds to get down the court for the game winner.
Yeah, you could have fouled Aaron Gordon. Just do it past half court.
past
Yeah,
half
and
court.
then they wouldn't have got the dribble, the kick. It would have been a half court heave, which is what you want them to shoot for a game. So I think literally that's the foul where they messed up and lost the game. But yeah, I'm good on this series.
All right. Well, yeah, Thunder, I'm gonna need y'all to bounce back. We'll see game 2. Hopefully they don't go down 0-2.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Knicks Celtics.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Are you scared?
Not one bit. Like I actually, even in losing that game, it showed me so much confidence. The Knicks got their first win against the top 3 teams in the NBA in the entire season.
Yeah.
They shot almost 50. They shot 46% from 3.
Yeah.
So no, I am extremely confident. We broke a record for most playoff missed 3-pointers, 45, 5 more. The pass was 40.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown shot 1 for 10 from 3. Him and Tatum both had 23 apiece.
Yeah.
In the clutch, Tatum and Brown both played bad.
Yes.
Historically has just not happened.
Yeah.
Where both of them don't do that. We didn't have Porzingis, who, with his struggles, he at least will get a layup and he will get rebounds and be a rim protector, a rim presence. We lost the turnover battle. Doesn't usually happen. 13-12. We shot 15 for 60 from 3.
Yeah.
And they shot 46% from 3. We shot 25% from 3. So it's almost like they beat us at our own game.
Yeah.
Won't happen 4 games. They won't do that for 4 games. And once again, Tatum had, I would say, a bad 3 quarters. First quarter, he looked elite. I think he had 13 in the first. Yeah. And then from there, he settled and wasn't as aggressive.
Settled.
And we were up 20, and we definitely laid off and started settling. But I love Joe Mazzulla's philosophy, and I think it's why we are going to be unbeatable in a 7-game series.
Yeah.
You know, if it was the NFL, 1 game, we would probably never win a championship with our style.
Yeah.
But I think we might shoot 50 next game. We might shoot 40. Like I love what happened, and I think, and once again, OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson both had 29. Both of them outplayed our 2 Hall of Fame Celtics duo.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff that happened literally won't happen again, and most definitely won't happen 3 more times for the Knicks. So, and with all of that, with all of the things that I just said, they won in overtime by 3 points. So I'm not worried at all. I said previously that the Celtics will drop games when we shoot. If you shoot 63s and you only make 15, you're gonna lose. Like the fact that we were in a close game, the fact that we were up 20 shooting bad is actually impressive. But I'm not worried one bit. It's just our style. We are going to drop games. I wasn't pleased with how we played in clutch time because we still could have got the dub, which is frustrating.
Yeah.
So we let one go in clutch time, but once again, I'm not worried at all. We're going to come back, shoot better next game, and we're better on the road in the playoffs, honestly. So I think we're going to go to New York and steal 2.
You think so you still think Boston in 5?
I don't even know if we'll win game 5. Like, but
okay.
Yeah.
So what I'll say, I'm with you. I do think the Celtics are still firmly in control of this series. I think they're just a better squad.
Yeah,
but
much better.
I did not like how y'all lost the game yesterday, and I do think it was a bad loss for you guys. And let me explain why. Obviously, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown have had games like this where they settle, and we've talked about it. You know, we've talked about
how they're
the
coached.
Jason Tatum. Sometimes when he plays like 6'10", like he's 6'10", he's elite, right? What I would like to acknowledge, though, is the fact that the Knicks, on paper, like I've been saying, do match up with this team very well. And a lot of the looks yesterday, I know it was 63s, I know y'all missed 45. A lot of the looks were contested. A lot of the looks weren't as great as games in the past where I've seen y'all miss 53s and it was because y'all were just missing. This game, I didn't get that vibe. I thought they hugged up on 3s, and I thought Tatum and Brown settled. And why I'm scared of that is because, first off, Jaylen Brown is still going through an injury, I believe. I don't know what the severity of it is.
Yeah.
But he is going to be guarded by guys like Josh Hart, OG, and Mikal Bridges. Same thing with Jason Tatum. It's going to be hard for those guys to score if they don't get the right mismatch. Cat, and all this stuff you want to say about the missed 3s and why they lost, Cat was out for a big majority of that first half with foul trouble. And I think that That will happen again because y'all are good at attacking mismatches.
Yeah, like they had to foul.
It probably won't happen that early.
Yeah. I don't even know it'll be him, but someone will be in foul trouble every game because they
usually it is. Cat has historically struggled with foul trouble.
Yeah, he led the league, or he was top 3 in the league in fouls committed this year.
Last year with Minnesota, we saw the same thing. So it's not like this is going to change. But let's talk about Jalen Brunson. Let's talk about how there's potential for the best player in this series to be Jalen Brunson. Right? And
as in just he plays better?
Yeah, as in he plays better this series. Kind of like with the Ant Luka thing. I still don't think Ant, unless he makes a bigger run, I don't think Ant is a better basketball player than Luka. But I think Ant in that series was better suited to be the best player in that series than Luka was, based off roster, based off matchup. That happens. And I think with the mismatches that Jalen Brunson was creating yesterday, because I'm not going to lie, Jalen Brunson is giving a bucket to anybody not named Drew Holiday. That was the reality of the situation yesterday. And I know those guys are going to play tough defense, but it is Jalen Brunson time. And once again, when we look at these starting 5, if there's any way in hell that this Knicks team can stay healthy and stay ready to play, they can propose a challenge for y'all and maybe a long series. Now, what I will say, once again, I don't even see a world where the Knicks do win this series. But initially, I had Celtics in 5. And as I watched that game yesterday, it's not what I like to see from Jason Tatum, from Jaylen Brown. And, once again, those threes were not uncontested threes that they were missing. That was some good defense down the stretch that the Knicks were playing. So we're going to have to see what the adjustment looks like. Yeah. And let's see. Let's win game 2, Boston.
Yeah, no, we will. And even if we don't, obviously I have to see how it goes. But I'm not worried one bit, honestly. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan. Like, just the way the game went and everything that you just said, OG Anunoby having 30.
OG is a good basketball player. OG can but he's do not that getting, again. But he was getting good, and he was getting open looks.
Yeah, but he was hitting even though catch and shoot threes, like he was hitting some heavily contested threes. He can do it, but he won't do that again. Like, let's just be real. He hasn't done it ever in his career.
Mikal Bridges didn't have the greatest game yesterday.
But he killed in overtime.
He killed in overtime, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Those are the players that the Knicks do have. And that's something
they do have them, but once again, the only player I could say that showed up was Drew Holiday. I mean, every single Celtics player shot the ball, and I'm saying from an offensive perspective. Yeah. Every single Celtics player shot the ball terribly, and that's just like I said, a lot of people, I knew this would happen. We're going to play what the Pacers or the Cavs, and we're going to drop a game just like this, and there's going to be overreaction. We're going to go to the finals, we're going to shoot bad one game, and it's going to be another overreaction because it's our play style. It is not possible to get up. Like, that's our goal. Like, you saw Missoula in the presser. They was like, did you get the look? Yeah, he was like, other than about maybe 5 to 10 shots we could have got better looks on, but which I agree with. There was probably 5 to 10, probably about 10 shots.
I think more. I think Jason Tatum damn near every single possession.
Yeah, which is about 10.
Yeah, get your ass downhill and go make something. And that's what I will say is games like this is why Jason Tatum will get disrespected for the rest of his career, because you're just out there shooting, and offensively, when you're not playing with force, you have very little impact. And when you watch guys with more juice, like Anthony Edwards, more juice like Luka Doncic, fans will tend to put them over him. So unless this don't matter if Jason Tatum wins. Once again, another ring. But there hasn't been a repeat champion in 8 years. And all I'm saying, and all I'm doing is painting the reality that what if this Celtics team doesn't win? What if they do get upset by one of these teams? Indiana was a hell of a mismatch for them last year. Indiana could have swept the Celtics if it went the other way around. I know that's crazy to say.
Yeah, but I don't think you can say that.
That's like more of a funny thing to say. Like, literally, if possessions went differently, they could have lost that game. And now Porzingis is battling a mystery illness. What was that, right?
It's like some upper respiratory. It'd be fine.
Okay, so I don't know what it is, but
maximum, like one more game.
But
maximum.
The Knicks, and next round, I won't be talking like this because I don't think any of those teams have the firepower to mess with y'all. But I have said this. The Knicks, on paper, once again, have the firepower to do damage against y'all. And if y'all don't get to a point to where y'all are attacking mismatches and finishing at the rim better next game, and once again, I'm just throwing it out there, right? Because I do think the Celtics will win this series. But next game, if they are not playing with force, that is going to be a sign of what's to come, because the Celtics are going for a back-to-back. So they're going to have to beat an elite team in the West because those 4 teams in the West are better than I would say any of the other 3 teams in the East. That's just my opinion. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if they were to play anybody else, I would definitely take any team in the West. That's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the Pacers right now as a team.
Me too.
Like, I think they might beat the Warriors if they played in a series. But
that's not crazy.
No. But yeah, like I said, this once again, yes, we do have to respond, but we always have.
Yeah, very true.
For the past 8 to 10 years. Whatever, how long Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been together. Unless we're playing LeBron. So I think we're gonna be fine.
I don't know, man. Jalen Brunson is that guy.
Yeah, he's not LeBron.
I ain't gonna lie, we gotta start.
And we did great for 3 quarters.
Yeah,
we did great for 3 quarters. Like,
right.
we did. Yeah.
I think y'all are gonna be fine. So we both think y'all are gonna be fine.
The only team that I think can give us problems, including teams in the West, is OKC. I'm honestly cheering against y'all. Yeah. Because I don't see, because y'all can guard.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, y'all just have to bring it offensively for 4 games. Y'all don't got to bring it for 7.
4.
Y'all just got to bring it for 4. But, yeah, I don't think, like, I'm looking at the Warriors. No.
Yeah. No, they got not a chance.
I'm looking at the Nuggets.
No. The Timberwolves may take y'all to like 6. That would be a little bit more challenging.
But Tatum has had Ant's number.
Yeah.
Even regular, I know it's regular season, but he's had Ant's number Ant's whole career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think literally the only team that proposes a issue for us is the Knicks if we don't show up. And it's crazy because I said last year that the Knicks was the team that I feared.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Because they give me Miami Heat vibes of
they play hard.
They can just play hard and out effort us. But one thing I do think is that everything that Josh Hart does, Derek White will cancel that out.
Yeah.
And playing hard. And like I said, we really just shot the ball terribly. Like, there's no. I don't think we will get outshot for 4 games.
But when you do talk about it, and I want to talk about Jalen Brunson after this real quick, as far as like legacy wise.
One more thing, if we shoot 28%, we win the game. Like that's the crazy part about it.
Yeah.
Like, but keep going.
My thing is, okay, so Jalen Brunson and Jason Tatum. There is a reality, in my opinion, that Jalen Brunson has a higher offensive impact than Jason Tatum in this series. And if you don't think that, that's fine, obviously.
That's fair, because he also is going to be asked to carry more load.
Exactly. He's going to have a higher usage rate, so he might have a higher output. All right. And then we look at Cat on the offensive end. He's going to have a higher offensive output than anybody else any 5 on the Celtics, just because of, once again,
You're
usage.
Saying center?
Yeah, any center on the Celtics. Any usage. So that's 2 positions already. And now we are asking, hey, OG, can you go outperform, let's say Jaylen Brown. Let's say he can't do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mikal Bridges, can you go outperform Derek White 3 out of the last 6 games? Can you do that? And the reality is, maybe.
But then you have to go to the depth.
Right.
Because Peyton Pritchard, because Tibbs plays nobody, he's going to outscore Campaign by 13.
Yes, but what I will say about that...
Cornette's going to outscore Mitchell Robinson, maybe, or, whatever.
Definitely Mitchell.
You know what I'm
Mitchell
saying?
Robinson might become unplayable based off y'all's strategy yesterday, but what I will say is...
Exactly.
The guy who initiated the spark of the run that the Knicks went on was Deuce McBride, who I've been extremely high on, and I don't think he's going to be, better than Peyton Pritchard in this series. We're talking about the 6th man of the year. But once again, after this win, you only got to do that half of the games. Right, so that's what you're really thinking about, and that's just something. I think the Celtics. What I want to see from them once again, and I'm not scared of anything, but I want to see them for their back-to-back hopes. I want to see them play with immense force in this game too. I don't want to see them taking all these. I want to see them taking the threes because that's their style.
Yeah.
But I want to see more drive and pass out rather than Tatum. Size up, step back 3.
Yeah.
We've been talking about that since they played the Warriors, about how when that's their style of offense, they're not the greatest. But let's talk about Jalen Brunson real quick. I just wanted to say, as far as small guards go, let's say 6'4", 6'3", and below, Jalen Brunson now has to be in consideration when we're talking about guys like Stephen Curry. Let's say Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas. I was about to say that. We got to give him his props.
We got to start talking about...
I'm talking about IT4 too.
Him too.
Yes.
But we got to start talking about him in that category. Because we got guys like
No, he's giving me Celtics Isaiah Thomas vibes.
Exactly, and I don't want to call him out,
but he'll have a more longevity.
But let's talk about James Harden. All right, James Harden, peak James Harden, 36 points a game, great player, all-time player. A lot of people say he's the greatest scorer of all time. There's not a world where I would go into a playoff series and say I want prime James Harden over Jalen Brunson. There's not a world.
I'll give you one better.
Go ahead.
And I'm so serious when I say this.
Yes.
There's not a series I would rather go in. If we're talking about basketball impact, I would rather have Draymond Green than prime James Harden.
That's I like that. I honestly do like that. And
this man, James Harden, has 20-plus games, I want to say 26, where he has more turnovers than field goals made in playoff games. That's just unacceptable.
Yes.
Because you average 36. You've done these type of things, so it's not like, you're coming off being a role player. No, like you have more turnovers than like it's bad.
And people like James Harden make you appreciate Jalen Brunson's more. And that's why I wanted to point that out, because you don't see Jalen Brunson all the time. You don't see a superstar that 100% of the time is going to bring everything they need to bring. And I'm not going to lie, based on a game-to-game basis, I have never seen a small guard have the impact offensively, the positive impact that Jalen Brunson has had. Even Stephen Curry. And Stephen Curry obviously has the attraction where you have to double him, you have to blitz him. He's going to make opportunities for his teammates. But on a game-to-game basis, as far as shot making goes, he is not on the level of Jalen Brunson as far as Jalen Brunson's going to get to his midi, his floater, his three ball. And he's going to do it on great splits, and he's going to give you 40 points. That's who Jalen Brunson is. But it's not no 25 per game. No. If he's getting in the playoffs, this is a 40-point per game. So not point per game, obviously. But there's a lot of games where he's going to give you 33 to 39 points. And that's a big thing. And we have to start talking about this guy as, at least maybe the best Knick of this century. If I was to just think, I mean, that's what I would say.
He's on that path for sure.
I mean, he could be the greatest Knick of all time. I don't think did Ewing go to a finals? I think Ewing might have went to a finals. Yeah. He played against Hakeem, I believe. So I don't know where he will end up, but it's impressive to see what he has done. And I just wanted to give him his props real quick. But let's move on to Cleveland and Indiana.
Yeah, Cleveland. Mobley, hurt, injury, which is huge. And Ty Jerome, I want to say illness or something's wrong with Ty Jerome and Sam Merrill maybe, or they have 3 players hurt. No, Garland, not Sam Merrill, Garland. And I've said this all along, your regular season, the things you're doing, it is great, it is amazing. But when you come down to a playoff series, are you really trusting Sam Merrill? Are you really trusting Matt Strus?
Yes.
Are you really trusting these guys to really knock down shots and come to play? And I'm not saying that those guys played extremely terrible or whatever. That's just my point. From a roster construction, do you really trust those guys on the line more than you do the Celtics role players? When I was Stephen A. Smith made a list where the Cavs were better than the Celtics. He had the Cavs better than the Thunder. He had the Cavs better than the Nuggets. And I just don't see it when it comes to, you got to really look at rosters and be like, okay, like, yeah, I trust him. Yeah, I trust him. And how many players can I say that about? And Donovan Mitchell has been elite, but his teams have been terrible when he is so dominant with the ball and shooting.
Yes.
Him and Ty Jerome both shot 50 of their 90 shots.
Yes.
You got to get Evan Mobley going.
Yeah.
He's the X factor. When you hired Kenny Atkinson, it was to unlock Evan Mobley, and that's what's going to take this team to the next level. And that's why in the regular season, they were so dominant, because you unlocked Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
If Evan Mobley goes quiet and isn't the player that he was in the regular season, Indiana's going to get him up out of there.
All right, so agreed with everything you just said. And let me just brag on myself real quick. I told people, if Indiana wins this series, I am taking them to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it's not because of the fact that, well, matter of fact, I will say, it's the fact that I thought the Cleveland Cavaliers were just not as great of a 1 seed. They're not a playoff translating team, like you just said. And once again, when your team is built off of 2 guards that do the exact same thing,
I think this
Garland and Mitchell, and then your bigs are 2 bigs that do the exact same thing. And I think people have just, they have thrown so much potential and so much hope into this Evan Mobley thing, when I don't think he's given us anything. Of course he's going to have great regular season
games where he hits a three ball.
Bro,
and,
his measurables alone will give him that. But when you get to this point, you need a secondary guy. And Donovan Mitchell, he becomes so, like you said, he becomes so ball dominant in these type of situations. And every time they have lost playoff series, it has been at the feet of Donovan Mitchell.
I start to not like Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs. Like and the way he like carries himself, he thinks he's like the main character.
No,
I'm like, bro, you are not the guy. Like this team might be a little better than his Jazz 1 seed.
Exactly, and you might, and I think that Jazz squad, I don't remember particularly the guys that were on that squad.
It was Ingles,
but
Gobert.
I guarantee you I was a little bit more scared of that squad than this one. Based off the variety that they had in the team.
Now you know with Donovan Mitchell as a one, it's like, come on.
And Donovan Mitchell.
Conley too.
Donovan Mitchell's such a weird. Oh, Conley, yeah. It's such a weird thing where you consider him a playoff riser because technically, like, he's getting more buckets.
Yes.
But as far as winning,
no.
Is he improving his team's chance of winning when he does go into that hero ball mode of playing basketball?
No.
Like, I don't see it. And
because you look at your team, and this is like another reason they can't beat the Celtics. You have two guards that are tiny.
Yes. And let's have this discussion. Who's the best backcourt in this series?
Oh, playoff? Nembhard and Halliburton.
Stop it. Stop it. That's what nobody has talked about.
Yes.
The best backcourt in this series is Nembhard and Halliburton.
When Garland comes back, too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who they have on.
Because when we look at playoffs, and we look at, I'm sorry, Nembhard, he shoots 29% in the regular season. He shoots 57% from three in the playoffs in his career.
Dude.
That's ridiculous.
Dude.
So, and he's a playoff riser. He hits crazy threes, like just late shot clock. Yeah, he's a playoff riser. And one thing we got to start talking about with Halliburton is the true point guard is not dead.
No.
Halliburton, yes, he scored and he did very well last game, getting around like 18, 20, whatever.
Yeah.
But he can go have elite impact on the game and get 9 points.
And no turnovers.
And exactly. And if you just watch him, I'll give McConnell credit too. Him and McConnell are the reason for this pace that they play with.
Yes.
I mean, Jared Allen, crazy dunk. All right, we're getting it out. We're going. Like, it's almost like I remember us in high school, like, whatever happened, just get out, go.
Go.
Like, taking the ball out quick, whatever just happened. And it kills momentum of other teams.
Yes.
You don't really get momentum because you can have an elite, you can have an Anthony Edwards, East Bay on somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's, all right, take the ball out, go. We get a layup. And we both just got 2 points.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think when we talk about winning, I would love to see a Kevin Durant type of player with Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes.
I would love to see an elite wing because he hasn't got because we see how he makes Siakam look.
Yes.
Not to discredit Siakam. Siakam's great, but if he had an elite three, because you got Nembhard, you got Siakam, and you got Miles Turner.
I think they run out Neesmith out there. Neesmith had a great game one, by the way.
Celtics, we draft him, so I know a lot about him. Elite shooter from Vanderbilt. Has really developed, and now he's performing in the playoffs rather than it just being cap and in the regular season. He's developed to where he's actually performing in the playoffs now. But if he was coming off the bench and then you had like an elite three, I mean, I would love to see them go make a trade and go find an elite three or whatever, even if it's straight up and get, you know, a Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, or like an elite player in this draft.
That. And I think a lot of these teams, and I'm glad that you said that. First off, I think the Pacers are in great shape for years to come.
Yes.
And I think a lot of teams have to wonder, is it time to make this swing for KD? Do we want to keep building up? Because KD, an old player, he might ruin your pace.
Yes.
Right? OKC, you get up and down the floor. Yes, he's going to propose late game shot making, and that's something you might not be able to turn down, especially if you lose this series.
Especially if he's a closer.
In excruciating fashion. But you do have to consider those things when picking these guys up. Even Giannis. You know, I've heard a lot of Giannis to Houston.
Well, Giannis doesn't solve Houston's problem. He definitely makes him better.
Yeah, Giannis will make any team probably a top 8 contender, especially if he gets traded there. They're going to have a better roster than Milwaukee, right? But you have to consider, you couldn't shoot. You lost series you lost to the Golden State Warriors because you couldn't shoot.
Couldn't score, You
couldn't score, period. You think Giannis is just going to completely solve that problem? You couldn't get out the first round. Like,
Well, Giannis also limits Sengun.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that has to be talked about, and Amin Thompson for that matter, because Amin Thompson, it's not like he's stepping back from three and hitting, So those are the things that these franchises do have to think about, and we might be at a point in this NBA where we're just watching, these young teams develop, and
the young guys won every series other than what?
The Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors. The Warriors, the only team that won. That was the young guys might just be better now.
So that's
Anthony
what it is.
Edwards. We're about to see right now.
Yeah.
Like Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum. These guys really might be better than Bron, Curry, and KD,
and it's
because
hard,
they're winning.
Yes, and it's hard for us to get over that. But those guys that we looked up to, the KDs, the Brons, and the Stephs of their heyday, that's the Jason Tatum, the Nikola Jokic, and the Giannis of today's game. That's the hierarchy. And a lot of people don't want to admit that because of the star power that those other three have had. But these three right now are what we are looking at as an example of winning.
And let's talk about an accolade. Not to get off track, but what as an all-time player, I know this is like, it sounds crazy winning a second round series, but if you give like the roster and you give what you and me both were saying before the playoffs started, if Nikola Jokic were to play how remotely close to how he played last night and he ends up winning this series, like, where do you have him all time as a just like, I mean, he can't be past 15, right?
No, I think he might already be top 15. Because, I think there's like 11 guys that people hold in like that very high regard. I think it like ends with Hakeem or something like that.
Or Kobe.
But, I mean, you can start talking about him with Hakeem. Like that's a conversation. And it's not... The thing about Hakeem is that he was so great defensively to where you might not be able to have those conversations. But once again, Nikola Jokic offensively, you cannot tell me that there is a better player period offensively than Nikola Jokic in NBA history. Like I'll hear it. I'll hear the Steph Currys. I'll hear the LeBron James.
You hear the KDs.
I will hear that.
But no.
But let's just be real. Like it's time to start having uncomfortable conversations about this dude. Yeah. I mean, he's not a 3-time MVP, 1-time champion for no reason.
And you gotta you really have to understand, because they're gonna look at Shaq 5-4 rings. You're gonna look at all these players with all these rings. But we have to clearly acknowledge that he is in a historically bad franchise.
Yes.
Historically losing franchise. He brought them a title. He has them in considerations to be a top 7 record team of all time.
Oklahoma City Thunder. This is an elite team.
Like, their bench is better. 1 through 4, they're better.
A team that was favored, they were minus 700 to start the series. The same thing about the Celtics were favored. And in my opinion, the Celtics beating the Knicks was way more likely than the Thunder beating
because
the
Nuggets. Your faith in Jokic. That's
exactly.
why.
And your faith in Jokic has propelled this team to unimaginable expectations, because we talked about throughout the entire second half of the season, we were criticizing the Denver Nuggets front office for not surrounding with this guy with the adequate talent. Now it's playoff time, and it's like, okay, Christian Brown is a freaking dog. Jamal Murray, oh man, he's back. Aaron Gordon is
because
that
when
guy.
It comes crunch
Russell
time,
Westbrook,
yes,
might be the most winning version of Russell Westbrook.
Yes,
that Russell Westbrook played great yesterday.
Yes,
I was
and you
impressed.
have to really look, and not to discredit those guys, but it's because of Jokic giving them. He makes it easy on them.
Yes,
I just need you to cut.
Yes,
I just need you to spot up, because someone's gonna come. Because if you don't bring nobody, I'm gonna get 40.
Absolutely. So
if you just stay in your spots, move without the ball. I mean, Aaron Gordon has perfected playing with Jokic.
Yes.
Like, he has just absolutely perfected it.
And I
Christian
think
Braun, like
Jokic credited Aaron Gordon with being his favorite, or not his best teammate of all time.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's where we're at. Like Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. Man, it's like you don't want to crown these guys as being like an all-time trio. But as far as the playoffs go, if they do make another run, you have to start talking about that trio as like, damn, but they were like that.
But even, I hate to be that guy, Jamal isn't doing this on any other team. It's because of the Jokic handoff and what Jokic brings.
Bro.
It's because of the attention Jokic brings, the lob to Gordon gets there and the kick out, regular catch and shoot. Aaron Gordon on any other team is just like, he's good, but he's not. Even Jamal Murray, he's good, but he's not like a number 2.
Yes.
So my point is, yes, Jokic might only end up with 1 ring. He might only, which would be sad, but with his MVPs and you really watching the games, You cannot tell me that if Jokic had Kobe and Dwayne Wade, he wouldn't get 4 rings.
Yes. I'm sorry. I don't like having that conversation, but
it's just a fact, though.
And Shaq, sorry, you couldn't play him off the court. Send him to the free throw line.
Yeah,
like that's unfortunate that you can say
you
that.
could do what they did to Mitchell Robinson.
And Shaq was obviously defensive end matters, right?
Yes,
Jokic offers little to none rim protection. Like that matters. Yeah. So you have to talk about that. But once again, to win basketball games, you have to put the ball in the basket more times than the other team, and the value has to be more than the other team. And Jokic is the best at generating those type of opportunities. He's better than anybody in NBA history. Yeah. So that's something that we do have to talk about. But let's move on.
Let's do it.
A little bit of a prediction, and we can throw in predictions right here since we didn't do that before.
Let's post this today.
Yeah, we'll post this today.
Game starts.
Minnesota, Golden State. All right.
This is gonna be good.
Who do you have winning this series?
Yeah.
I know you had the Rockets winning in 7 last time and Minnesota losing in 5, so this one is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
This is his time to bounce back.
Yeah. I'm going to go with my gut.
Okay.
Rather than me being safe, which might kill me again. Give me Warriors in 7.
Okay.
I think Minnesota is, once again, a better team.
Yeah.
I think... But, like I said, I think even in the Lakers series, like the game that they won to close out, you're like, but they're playing with their food like the basketball gods.
Yes. And I was saying that, yes.
I think the Timberwolves are better, but where I say the Warriors are better, 2 minutes to go, tie game, close game. And I think that's what these more of these games will be rather than the OKC Nuggets. Yeah. I think the OKC will have 1 or 2, maybe blowouts or 15, 10-point wins. But I don't think that with this series. Mm-hmm. I think Jimmy will be a little bit more healthy, and have spot games where he gives you 20 to 30 points and very efficient. I think Gobert, how bad the Lakers are at the 5 position and no center and no interior defense. Yeah. Kind of fooled us with definitely Gobert. I mean, you have Gobert going 30 and 20. Yeah. Let's be real. Like, this guy is bad on the offensive end. Like, as much as you just praise Jokic, this might want to be the worst center of all time on the offensive end of the floor when we talk about capability. Yeah. Let's just keep it a buck.
No, yeah.
And he had 30 and 20.
Yeah.
And Randall has been a historically terrible player performer. Hooped because he could just get to the rim whenever he wanted. Yeah. I think Draymond Green as... I'm going to say it, the best small ball 5 big of all time. Yeah. Will propose some problems where Rudy will never score more than 10 points. Yeah. And I would put Looney.
I would put Looney in a lot for the Gobert minutes.
Exactly. And I will put Draymond on Randall the whole time and give him fits. Yeah. Then you got Jimmy guarding Ant. Then you got Moody guarding Ant. Then you got possibly Kuminga for spot minutes. Yeah. The Warriors are an elite defensive team.
Yeah.
I think that, like I said, late in the clutch, I think I would take the Warriors to beat this Timberwolves team. But I do think the Timberwolves are a better team. I really do.
So I actually agree with you in the fact that as far as matchup-wise, the Golden State Warriors propose an insane mismatch for the Timberwolves.
Bro, pause. Okay. There's a possibility that we get a Warriors-Nuggets conference finals. Neither of us thought that.
No. And it won't happen. It won't happen.
I'm just saying the fact that it's a possibility is
and
like...
I'm betting on my OKC Minnesota. Wow. Bro, OKC Minnesota conference finals. Oh my gosh. I mean, I will cry seeing that. That is great basketball. And I'm not.
I mean, there's an 8-year-old that will that will cherish this.
This will be a core memory.
Like,
for
he's gonna tell his son, bro, Ant and Shay, bro.
What Western Conference series was that for us? I remember.
It was for sure. It was not even Western Conference. It was for sure the championship with Bron versus KD, Russ, the Heatles versus.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was for sure.
Also, one thing that sticks out in my mind for some reason is the Warriors versus the Rockets. The 7-game series that for some reason was so iconic of a series.
There's a lot.
There's so many to think of.
There's a lot. Like, you think about those Grizzlies teams.
The Grizzlies playing anybody. The Grindhouse Grizzlies playing anybody back then was going to be a series.
Nah, that's straight nostalgia.
Yeah, there was some great series. But in this series in particular, I have Minnesota in 6.
Okay, right? Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I do think Golden State defensively will mess with Minnesota a lot of games. Like, there will be spells where both of these teams go on like a 5-minute run where they're not putting the ball in the basket at all. I see that happening. But I think the best player in the series, once again, is Anthony Edwards.
I agree.
Right? So, in closing time, I do trust Anthony Edwards to keep making good decisions to score the ball. Honestly,
you know what's crazy? And Anthony Edwards is too, and this goes to his teammates showing up in big games as well. This team shows up in big games.
Yeah.
Once again, I got to see Randall against, like, if he does it this series, then all of that goes away. But Anthony Edwards' two probably worst playoff games scoring wise. They won, and it was in his two signature wins of his career. The Game 7 against Denver.
Yeah.
And, the closeout game against...
Yeah, and I think people love to criticize the Julius Randles and Rudy Goberts for their offensive, woes during the postseason, which is fair.
Yeah.
Hella fair. But people don't talk about the Dante DiVincenzo's of the world, the Jaden McDaniels of the world, where in winning time, they pretty much always come to play, it seems like.
I got questions sometimes with DiVincenzo, but for sure McDaniels.
Yeah, I don't know. Dante has been on, but
Dante also last series was,
and he's been on the Bucks.
Yeah,
when they won a championship, I believe. The Knicks, he was one of the best players on the Knicks last year in some great series, very clutch moments. I think he had games where he was at 25 a game. So this is a very winning basketball team. And I honestly just think it comes down to talent in this series. I think Minnesota has a slightly more amount of talent. And I think this is going to be an all-time Stephen Curry series, though. I don't think anybody on Minnesota has the foot speed necessarily or the I was going to say girth, but I don't really want to say that. The width to get over some of these Draymond screens.
Yeah. So there's no Amin Thompson here.
No, there's no one on that team that does that.
As great as he is on ball, he cannot.
He doesn't have the foot speed. He's not keeping up with Curry.
Your best chance is Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah, I think Stephen Curry is going to have some all-time games in this series, 100%. Yeah. But yeah, I do have Minnesota in 6. I think it's just a little bit of a talent gap. At this point.
They can guard. They have the matchups to guard Jimmy Butler.
Oh yeah, they have everyone to guard Jimmy. Everyone else, honestly, but. I think Stephen Curry, to win this series, Stephen Curry is going to have to have some 40-point games. And I think with the matchups on
the other end, same thing with Ant.
Yeah, Ant's going to have to. So it is going to be a lot of Ant versus Stephen Curry in this series, even though it's not going to seem like it. But defensively, these teams match up with each other very well as far as guarding each other. So, we're going to have to see. I'm excited for this series.
And I think it really just depends on my faith in Draymond Green really holding Randall to terrible games.
Yes.
And he's very capable. He just did it to Sengun, who I think is, you'd argue, better than Randall.
We got to have some conversations about Sengun, too.
Yeah.
Sengun gave me... Nick Wright said this, and I agree with it. When I was watching this series throughout, I thought he was going to be, a second option on a championship team. Now I'm questioning, okay, is he a second or a third guy? It
depends on his development. He still could get even better in this league.
And Amin Thompson could... make that jump and then they get somebody else.
Will be a number one. I
don't think it'll be a number one. I think it'll be a number 2. I absolutely do not think he reaches the level of offensive output to where he's.
No, but I think he'll be the best player. I think this dude might end up being the best defender of all time. Behind
wow, that's crazy.
No, I'm saying he has that capability. Yeah, I don't know if he
athletically, absolutely.
It's crazy. I know Serge good, but Amin is just watching is a little different.
And what's crazy?
They're both all-stars, though. They both will be all-stars.
Yeah, I feel like they can both get smarter on the defensive end. Yeah. I think them sliding their feet and all that stuff, it's so impressive. That they still have great IQ, but I feel like in spots they can get smart. And they're young players. They can get smarter in certain aspects. A lot of these young guys that are freakishly athletic, the Thompson twins, Wemby, Chet, they give me flashes of sometimes they don't always know what they want to do on the court. Right. And... we're getting to that next generation where some of these guys are going to figure that out. We saw Anthony Edwards figure a lot of that out in the first series against the Lakers. So I just want to see who does take that jump and who doesn't, because a lot of the time, that's the difference. Karl Anthony Towns, I bring him up all the time because I think he's one of the most talented guys in the league. Yeah. And based off IQ, if he was a guy that had some of the brightest IQ in the league, he's a top 5 player in basketball, right? So some of these top talented guys, the question is whether they make it easy for themselves or they don't. And that's really what it comes down to. So we're going to have to see, what happens with a lot of these guys. But,
and like I said, we really have to talk about Draymond Green's impact on winning at an all-time level. Yeah. We have to talk about, this player might be nicer than him, but you're talking about a player with 4 championships. Yeah. Has been no offense, but even his offensive IQ and passing, he makes that system run. Like, Curry can't dominate a ball and win.
No.
He has to be off the ball and do all this little stuff. Like, Draymond Green is the reason that they win. They don't have any championships if it's not for Draymond Green.
And you look at his stats and you would never know.
Like, you will never know unless, like, you really just respect what Draymond Green does. But his knowledge, he's one of the smartest players of all time. He, like, honestly, even when they get KD, if you don't have Draymond Green, it's not the same.
No,
it's not the same.
It's
like,
not.
Draymond really is the reason they win. He does what no one else on the team does.
He's the second most important figure in that entire organization, I believe, of the past 15 years or whatever they've been winning.
Yes.
Even more important than Steve Kerr.
Yes. More important than Clay, too.
Man, this Steve Kerr thing, I feel like we are just so indifferent with the entire world about Steve Kerr.
Yeah, no, like I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't. Your entire system of coaching, and we're gonna have to see, it's built around Steph Curry.
Yes.
And his style. It's not your own, like, so when Steph Curry retires, Steve Kerr will be, I really truly believe he will be such an ineffective coach because other than Steph Curry and the style that the Warriors play, Kuminga would be wanted by any other, but Kuminga actually can't play the style that they play.
Yes.
Like, he actually can't.
Yeah.
Any other team would love Kuminga, and he would be much more useful. But in a system where it's shoot threes, slow the ball, it's almost like college. Like, and that's why he didn't go to college. You know what I'm saying?
That is very true.
You get what I'm saying?
A lot of these G League Ignite guys just don't, they're not. Jalen Green is another guy where I look at his IQ and it's like, bro, your
Jalen Green should have went to college.
Yeah.
Like, it's obvious. Like, if he could learn how to play off the ball, come off screens, like all of that, he would be an elite shooting guard.
And I'm not going to lie, the next guy up, Matas Buzelis, is kind of, I see flashes of him being great once again.
Yes. But
that's the same thing we're saying about Kuminga and Jalen Green.
Yeah.
There's definitely an opportunity where we're talking about Matas Buzelis. He might be on a contending team. We're talking about, why isn't this guy playing? Well, I mean, maybe he doesn't have the IQ just like Kuminga and Jalen Green. And I think great coaches do bring you out of that. And let's talk about Ime Udoka. He's a great defensive coach. Maybe he doesn't have the potential to bring Jalen Green's best offensive side out of him. And, you know, Jonathan Kuminga, once again, he doesn't fit Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to see about a lot of these guys. But
you got to trade Kuminga for, I don't know, like, honestly, your best bet is another 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
Or, shoot, Kuminga. If you're really going all in on Steph Curry, Kuminga, all your picks, Kevin Durant. I mean, you get KD, Jimmy, and Curry for next year.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm interested to see the Warriors and the Lakers is they're going to both be in a battle of offseason who can win the offseason. Because both of these teams, Jimmy, I think, can give you one more year of the same thing. Yeah. I do think one more year.
Yeah.
Curry, he shoots the ball. Yeah. Like, it's not really going anywhere. Draymond Green, he can do it. He can grind it out one more year. Like, we're talking about both of these teams as one piece away. LeBron, you can give me one more year.
See, the thing about it is I think the Warriors are very much more suited to have a great offseason.
Yes.
Because of the fact there's not just 7-foot lob threats walking out every single day and knowing what they can do. Like that.
I saw there it's not even that it needs to be a lob threat. I mean, it would help Luka.
Yeah.
But I think it's just presence.
Yeah,
like there was talk about, like, and he doesn't have to be as good as, like, he doesn't have to be. That's the thing. Like, Jackson Hayes would get DNPs on any team and on a contender he starts.
Yeah.
Like, that's how bad their 5 position was. Like, there's talks about them getting Brooke Lopez. That would be huge for them.
See, Brooke Lopez is an old ass guy too.
Nah, but it's so much better than Jackson Hayes. And he'll shoot the ball and, like, it'll just be better. And I think the Lakers being a free agent destination, if you're a big who didn't put up elite numbers but you're still good, if you play with Luka and Bron, you're gonna have a career. They're gonna get you a bigger contract.
Absolutely. And I think Austin Reeves has to be. We haven't talked about this.
Well, Austin Reeves is such a steal for the Lakers because of how cheap his contract is. He's outplaying his contract. Even when he played bad, I would
trade him though.
I mean, he's an elite trade asset because of he has no money. I mean, they're in talks. Austin Reeves and some players, like all your expirings for Embiid.
Embiid? Why would he? No. I don't like that fit because you already have. I would like to see Austin Reeves go.
Embiid, Luka, Bron?
No, I don't. For the Lakers, hell yeah. I'm talking about for the Sixers, but for me, I would like to see Austin go to a place where a defensive culture is already set.
Yeah.
So I would like to see him go to a place like Orlando.
Houston.
Or Houston, like somewhere that needs an actual bucket getter. Because, first off, Austin Reeves, I know he just had a bad series, and it was a bad series. Like,
Yeah.
I thought he played horrible. But he's had some pretty good playoff series.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't think he's that's him.
No,
I
it's
think
just his style. It's the same thing with Jamal Murray last year. His style just
it's not good against those long
Timberwolves.
defenders. It's the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves take a lot of great players out.
They take the quick, like the Timberwolves do good against Brunson.
Yes, like that's who they are. But I think if you send him to the Magic and then hey, just go get Wendell Carter back. You know, like I feel like that would be Jonathan Isaac, another guy that I think that would be important on the Lakers. Like those are the type of guys that they should be chasing after. Steven Adams, if you can make that happen. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see what those two teams do in off season.
Yeah.
But good video.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens in these next couple games. OKC, once again, please bounce back. That was an atrocious loss. I couldn't sleep last night because of it. And yeah, man. Yeah. Peace out. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, have a great one.